Here is an interesting story from a book called Memorial do Convento by Joe Saramago. It's also known as Balthasar and Lumunda. So the story is a little complex. It's about building a convent. It's about a king whose wife was not able to give him children, and it goes like that. It's a very complex story with a lot of little stories embedded. But I'm taking one part which talks about Father Bartholomew, who is trying to build uh, a flying machine. He starts the work and then he enlists two people, Balthasar and Lumunda, and they have a history on how they came together. We'll not get into that. And this flying machine resembles a huge giant bird, and it's slowly being built. And it's built. It's a covert operation though, because the church is not supposed to know about it. And but then Father Bartholomew gets transferred. He has to leave, and he also wants to get ether to which needs to power the machine. So who leaves the project and he goes in search. So the project is temporarily suspended. So then he comes back after many years, and they all connect and they decide to rebuild the flying machine. And by then he finds out that the ether can be extracted from the black cloud of people's wills, the will of the people. And Blimunda is very, very central character in this entire thing, because she has the powers of seeing the black cloud, which is particularly useful. She can see the black cloud, and this she does by whenever she goes to bed, she takes a piece of bread with her and eats it before opening her eyes in the morning. If she fails to do so, then she ends up seeing inside people, and this kind of helped them. So they go about collecting people's wills, particularly, and this happened during the plague, incidentally, and the plague nearly kills Blimunda, but she survives. So the willpower existing within us can be looked at as a myth of sorts. It's something which is not tangible. Now, what is willpower, by the way? The ability to persist and keep up and do the things that you plan to do? Maybe that's the reason. So let's get into neuroscience a little bit, because that's my favorite. Neuroscience will bail me out when I say that our behavior is governed by habit. And most of the time, the change of behavior requires acquisition of a new habit. That's how it works. Willpowers and conscious decision have very little power over what we do. Actually, that is how it is. It does not have any power over what we do. When it comes to understanding human behavior and neuroscience, it has a limitation, because it comes a very sketchy knowledge about the physical science as such. So if we were to look for magic to happen, then we will have to give science a go by and get onto something which is beyond science. Okay? So let's go beyond science. So hidden wisdom is where we have to turn in order to understand willpower that does not exist in the real sense. It exists in the super real sense, let's say. If it is not willpower, then it has to be a power that is beyond us, whatever. For the sake of handling this mystery, let's assume that those who have faith in the gospel of Christ have something that is implanted, which is like a widget or an organ, which is capable of endowing the human being with unlimited power. So how do we put this widget to use? It is said that the same processing power that powered the Apollo spacecraft to the moon is available to us today in the device which we hold in our hands. But what we do with it is up to us. So the first thing we need to do is to understand the presence of the widget within us, and the next thing is to understand how to use it, because it just doesn't happen. So let's say you want to do a few things, some very important, and you want to lead a healthy lifestyle, or to be able to read and write, or to be able to talk in public, or any of these challenges. For years we would have tried, and one day you wake up and realize years have gone by, still struggling to manage your life, and you haven't achieved anything. Now it's time to try that little widget within us. We saw in the beginning that the flying machine needs ether, and ether can be extracted from the black cloud of people's wills. So whatever little will we have needs to be transferred to that widget in order for it to get activated. That's the key. So here it is. Assume that a widget is like a mobile app which is in your phone, and to start the app, you need to power it. And to power the app, you assume that it requires your whatever little willpower that you have. So only then it gets active, which means that whatever little you have, if you have, that's zero willpower, has to be completely surrendered, given up. So you must have the faith of the thirsty guy who was walking in the desert, and he finds a hand pump, and there's a little bottle of water hanging on the pump, and then there's a little board which says, listen, pour the water into the pump and start pumping. You'll get a lot of water, but don't forget to fill the bottle before you leave for the next lost soul. So basic thing is surrendering that fragment of will, like pouring the water in the pump, and then we whatever little we possess, and then going to the master and laying it in his feet and telling him, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done, O Lord. That's the key. And then you expect the master to bless those loaves and fishes and fill you with abundance that you would be able to give to others. So this entire thing is not about only you having the benefit of the power which is within you, which has been endowed with you. It is also using that for your own benefit and to radiate to the people around you. I mean, that should be the most important thing. So the thing is, you have to pour the water in the pump, and then you have to pump. How do we pump it? It is about surrendering it every day and receiving it and patiently waiting on the master to give back to you, knowing fully well that when you ask, he will give you.